understand what's going on here in terms of Harvard. Harvard was, I think, the first university to fight back when the Trump administration wanted them to kowtow to the administration. Remember, this is also a function. The administration, I don't know if they fell into this or this was, an active strategy. I would probably imagine the latter. They, did you ever print that out for me? We can read it here. I'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
The Trump administration has been using in part this notion that there was rising anti-Semitism on campuses and the agenda of Zionist ideology in this country to stifle criticism of Israel and their act of genocide. And that became the fig leaf in which they were basically extorting law firms and universities over the past, I guess, five months now. Harvard was one of the early, or the first, one of the biggest, certainly, universities to balk at that. Then we started to have some law firms who said, we're not going to capitulate to your insistence that we fund immigration attacks on people. And so the administration's obviously been looking for ways to deal with this. Here is a letter written to Harvard from Homeland Security. Harvard Student and Exchange Visitor Program decertification. I'm writing to inform you that effective immediately, Harvard University Student and Exchange Visitor Program certification is revoked. Something like 25% of Harvard students, I would imagine across both undergraduate and graduate, are foreign.
Yep. It's around, so it's like a fourth of their student body, 6,800 international students at Harvard.
And they often pay full price.
Yeah.
They end up subsidizing other students there in some respects. As I explained to you in April, it's a privilege to enroll foreign students, and it's also a privilege to employ aliens on campus.
It's psychotic.
Nazis.
This is really
All
dark.
universities must comply with the DHS security requirements, including reporting requirements under student exchange visitor programs to maintain this privilege. As a result of your refusal to comply with multiple requests to provide DHS pertinent information while perpetuating an unsafe campus environment that is hostile to Jewish students, promotes pro-Hamas sympathies, and employs racist diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, you have lost this privilege. None of what they're outlining, incidentally, is in any way criminal or I don't know that any of this is statutory.
Right. That's my question. Well, I was trying to look into it a little, but we can touch on that after we get done with this insane letter.
The revocation of your student and exchange visitor program certification means that Harvard's prohibited from having any aliens on F or J non-immigrant status for the 2025-2026 school year. This decertification also means that existing aliens on F or J non-immigrant status must transfer to another university in order to maintain their non-immigrant status. This action should not surprise you, and it is an unfortunate result of Harvard's failure to comply with simple reporting requirements.
So here she goes into this,
now, wait a
timeline.
Second.
Yeah.
Just want to say, this sentence, I mean, I don't know who's writing these letters, but that sentence is not consistent with what they said in the first paragraph. This action is a result of Harvard's failure to comply with simple reporting requirements. And as we go back up, there were others that they claim that it's an unsafe campus, employs racist diversity, equity, inclusion policies, promotes pro-Hamas sympathies. No. She says down here, this is just a function of reporting requirements.
Right. Right.
So within 3 paragraphs, they have contradicted themselves.
She's admitted that it's not just that, it's also their speech.
On April 16th, 2025, I requested records pertaining to non-immigrant students enrolled at Harvard University, including information regarding misconduct and other offenses that would render students inadmissible or removal. Harvard's counsel provided information that he represented as responsive to my request. It was not.
And Harvard's suit against the federal government today addresses this, and this seems to be kind of where the core of this their case rests on. Harvard did produce the information that they asked for within the timeline, and she essentially admits it, Kristi Noem, and says that the information was not responsive to her request without providing any evidence. And so they give her the information. DHS says it's insufficient, and then they revoke the student exchange visa authority regardless. So this is just a mafia shakedown.
As a courtesy that Harvard was not legally entitled to, the acting DHS general counsel responded on my behalf, afforded Harvard another opportunity to comply. Harvard again provided an insufficient response. Consequences must follow to send a clear signal, and all universities that want to enjoy the privilege of enrolling foreign students that the Trump administration will enforce the law, root out the evils of anti-Americanism and anti-Semitism in society and campuses. Head to the second page where we can see the laws that she's citing. Obviously, there are laws that she can point to. Here it is. Please be advised that materially false, fictitious, or fraudulent information may subject you to criminal prosecution. Other criminal
that stuff.
Wait, what? Oh, okay. So she's referring to the law that says you can't lie to us when you send us information. But she's not referring to the law that they already broke. I expect full and complete responses to the following request. Any and all records, whether official or informal, in the possession of Harvard University, regarding illegal activity, whether on or off campus, by a non-immigrant student enrolled in Harvard University for the last 5 years.
It's a crazy request.
A non-immigrant seems to be all the students, right? I mean, if I'm a citizen, I'm a non-immigrant student.
That's how I think of myself, a non-immigrant.
But I wonder if that's what they meant, or if they just meant people who are here on visas.
That aren't immigrating, right?
Okay.
I mean, it's unclear, because this was written by a 3-year-old.
Yep.
Any and all records of any regarding dangerous or violent activity, whether on or off campus, by a non-immigrant student enrolled at Harvard University in the last 5 years. Like the idea that they would keep record, I don't know, maybe they do.
But they also have a duty to protect their students from the federal government.
I would imagine there's privacy.
100%.
questions.
I mean, look at the way Shipman got booed by Columbia.
They're opening themselves up to massive liability with their student body by violating their privacy because of this stupid ass letter from Kristi Noem.
If you're an international student, why would you go to a school that is willing to give all this information to the Trump administration?
No, of course you won't.
And they're not. And good for Harvard for standing up here. They have the endowment to do it.
Regarding deprivation, the same request regarding deprivation of rights of other classmates or university personnel, whether on or off campus. Any and all disciplinary records of all non-immigrant students. Any and all audio or video footage of any protest activity. Signed, Kristi Noem.
There you go. Footage of the protest activity. So you're going to comply with us while we violate the free speech rights of your student body, or we're basically going to go for your purse, because that's, as we touched on it just a second ago, these international students tend to pay full price, including room and board. So this is a hit at Harvard's finances, which is what they're trying to do. It's what it's designed to do. And it's clear that we haven't talked too much about it, but there was reporting a few days ago in the New York Times about how the Heritage Foundation, which was behind Project 2025, has this separate project called Project Esther, that's using the same tactics to crack down on the pro-Palestinian movement that are being used in Project 2025. And it seems like this is very much out of the playbook of what was outlined in that.
there is a question, and someone just IM'd us about the specific law that protects students' education records is FERPA, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. FERPA requires written consent from parents or eligible students before their education records can be disclosed to third parties. It is unclear to me, like, whether education records constitute any records held about the student by and the educational institution. But nevertheless, it's quite clear that there's no legal basis for what they're asking for because they don't even cite a law. Here is Christy Noem on Fox News trying to explain this.
On themselves. They have promoted and allowed violent activity on campus. They have allowed anti-Semitism, participation with CCP and Chinese infiltration and influence on their campus, and they haven't protected their students. So we have given them multiple opportunities to share criminal activity with us, backgrounds on these students, to let us conduct the oversight into this program that is our responsibility. And
pause it. Incidentally, apparently all these students can go enroll in another college and they'll be fine.
Yeah.
So we have all these
scatter these Hamas agents.
We have all these Hamas Chinese, these Chino Hamas agents.
The Chi-Com Islamists.
And as long as they go to a different college, they'll be okay. Is that what, like?
For sure, Sam. That's what we're saying, okay?
Also, I really liked the...
They're under the cone of protection by Cornell University.
I liked the beginning when she talked about how violent they are, and they're just the whole B-roll that Fox News is showing is this giant protester that says let Gaza live, and then also now here stop the genocide.
Divesting, that's kind of violence against investors.
Yep.
That is our responsibility, and they have refused to do so. So today I sent them a letter that said they will no longer be allowed to participate in this student exchange visitor program, and that's up to 27% of their enrolled students. So it's significant. Any foreign student that wishes to get an education in this country that is attending Harvard and not participating in this criminal activity, they will have to find another university to go to, because Harvard has chosen instead to not protect their students and to allow this kind of violent and discriminatory action continue.
So as you violence, yeah.
And the law that they have violated, the law of privilege, I don't know what it is.
Words are not violence. Words can be hateful, but words are not violence. Bombs are violence. And
especially not words that are like stop the genocide and divest from Israel. That's actually the opposite of violence.
Right. But I mean, I don't know why she even needed to write that letter. Couldn't Trump have just done habeas corpus and all of this could have been solved? I've been told by her that that's a presidential authority.
Habeas
Habeas corpus.
I like this
adunum.
Habeas chicken nugget 10 piece.
So Harvard is, I mean, they immediately filed suit. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens when some of like the biggies, like apparently the future queen of Belgium just finished her freshman year at Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
No word on whether she's a secret Chi-Com
Hamas anti-Semite secret plant or what? Sleeper cell. But I would imagine at one point there's going to be people there. And where's that Bill Ackerman guy? Yeah. Didn't he? Is that what his name is? Oh, he's thrilled about this.
He loves it.
This is what his money. He was a big Trump donor. He was having to bankroll this himself back in the day with Harvard, where he was putting out LED doxing trucks outside of the campus with the names and photos and information of the students there. Now he's got Project Esther to do it.
And he does all this stuff tweeting from the elliptical, too, apparently.
Oh, there you go.
And by the way,
Project Brain Drain is
yes,
what's going on in this country right now.
And just got to say, This is disgusting, and it's not making Jewish students safe. It's making them unsafe to continue to use them for the Trump administration's fascist actions.
Absolutely.
It's disgusting to continue to conflate anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism for this authoritarian crackdown.
It's incredibly dangerous.
I saw 3 young Orthodox boys walking on my way to work this morning. They had anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism placards. Good for them.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.